How to Train Your Dragon is a 2010 American computer-animated action fantasy film based on the 2003 book of the same name by English author Cressida Cowell. Produced by DreamWorks Animation and distributed by Paramount Pictures. The film was directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois from a screenplay by Will Davies, Sanders, and DeBlois, and stars the voices of Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, America Ferrera, Jonah Hill, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, T.J. Miller, and Kristen Wiig. The story takes place in a mythical Viking world where a young Viking teenager named Hiccup aspires to follow in the traditions of his tribe to become a dragon slayer. After finally catching his first dragon and with his chance to finally gain the tribe's acceptance, he finds that he no longer wants to slay dragons and instead befriends them. The film premiered on March 20th, 2010, and the Gibson Amphitheater on March 21st, 2010, and was released in the United States 5 days later on March 26th. The film was a commercial and critical success, receiving praise from film critics and audiences alike, and grossing nearly $500 million worldwide. It was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature and Best Original Score at the 83rd Academy Awards, but lost to Toy Story 3 and The Social Network, respectively. How to Train Your Dragon also won 10 Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature. Two sequels, How to Train Your Dragon 2 and How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, were released on June 13, 2014 and February 22, 2019, respectively. Like their predecessors, both sequels were widely praised and became box office successes. The film's success has also inspired other merchandise, including video games and a television series. The Viking village of Berk, located on a remote island, is frequently attacked by dragons, which take livestock and damage property. Hiccup, the awkward 15-year-old son of the village chief, Stoic the Vast, is considered too skinny and weak to fight dragons, so he instead invents mechanical devices under his apprenticeship with Gobber, the village blacksmith, though Hiccup's inventions often backfire. During one attack, Hiccup uses a bolus launcher to shoot a Night Fury, a dangerous and rare dragon of which little is known, but no one believes him, so he searches for fallen dragons on his own. He finds the dragon in the forest, entangled in its web, but cannot bring himself to kill it, and instead frees it. Stoic assembles a fleet to find the dragon's lair and enrolls Hiccup in a dragon fighting class with Astrid, Fishlegs, Snotlout, Roughnut, Toughnut, and Gobber, training while he is away. Hiccup returns to the forest to find the Night Fury still there, unable to fly due to Hiccup's bicycle tearing off half of its tail fin. Hiccup befriends the dragon, naming him Toothless. Feeling guilty for crippling Toothless, Hiccup designs a harness and prosthetic fin rig that allows the dragon to fly with Hiccup controlling the prosthetic. Astrid, a tough Viking girl who is upset about Hiccup's success, finds out Hiccup is training Toothless. But before she can tell the villagers, Hiccup takes her flying with Toothless to show her his bond with the dragon. This makes Astrid realize that dragons are not what they have always known. Suddenly, Toothless takes Hiccup and Astrid to an island that is a dragon nest where they eventually encounter a giant dragon named Death Red who will eat other dragons unless they bring him food. Upon their arrival at the village, Astrid wants to tell Stoic about the island, but Hiccup stops her because he believes Toothless will be in danger if his father finds out about the island. Hiccup learns about dragon behavior while working with Toothless and is able to subdue all of the captive dragons without violence during his training, earning the admiration of his friends, but causing Astrid, a tough Viking girl whom Hiccup has a crush on, to become increasingly suspicious of his behavior. Meanwhile, Stoic's fleet arrives home with no luck, though Stoic is cheered by Hiccup's unexpected success in dragon training. Hiccup is judged the top of his training class and must kill a dragon for his final test. He attempts to escape with Toothless, only to be followed by Astrid in the forest. Hiccup takes Astrid for a flight to show that dragons are friendly. When Astrid reminds Hiccup of the test, Toothless suddenly leads the pair to a dragon's lair, where they encounter a giant dragon called the Red Death, who eats smaller dragons unless they are constantly brought live food. Both realize that the dragons have attacked Burke under duress. Astrid wants to tell the village about their discovery, but Hiccup suggests protecting Toothless. Back in the village the next day, Hiccup confronts the captive Nightmare Skull dragon in his final test. Rather than killing it, he instead subdues it to prove that dragons are peaceful. When Stoic accidentally angers the dragon into attacking, Toothless arrives to protect Hiccup, but is captured by the Vikings in the process. Hiccup accidentally reveals to Stoic that Toothless knows the location of the dragon's lair. Stoic disowns his son and sets off for the lair with Toothless chained to the lead ship as a guide. After the Vikings leave, Hiccup is devastated, but Astrid tells him to realize that he saved Toothless out of compassion and empathy, not weakness. Hiccup then regains his confidence enough to go after Toothless and rescue him along with Astrid and the other teens. Viking raiders discover and destroy the dragon's nest, causing most of the dragons to fly out, but also awakening the Red Death, which soon overwhelms the Vikings. Hiccup, Astrid, and their fellow apprentices fly in, riding Burke's captive training dragons, providing covering fire and distracting the Red Death while Hiccup frees Toothless. Hiccup nearly drowns in the process, but Stoic saves them both, reconciling with his son. Toothless and Hiccup destroy the Red Death by piercing its wing membrane and then tricking the beast into making a dive from which it cannot pull itself out after shooting a fireball into its mouth. Hiccup is injured in the fight, losing his lower left leg. Hiccup awakens back on Burke, discovering that Gobber has made him a prosthesis, and he is now admired by his village, especially Astrid, who kisses him. Burke begins a new era, with humans and dragons living in harmony.